Hey, it's Dr. Amanda with StraightSmile Solutions, StraightSmileSolutions.com, and today we're going to go over things that you can buy at the Invisalign store, specifically their typodonts. Way back when I took my Invisalign courses, plural, because they made me take it more than once, long story, but we got actually a typodont that came with the course. Of course, back then it was a destination course, and you got like a basic typodont just to show how you take the aligners on and off to show patients, because that's pretty much all they had back then. But I guess I just was peeking in the store recently and I saw they have all different types of typodonts, which can be super helpful in explaining different types of treatment to patients, precision cuts, attachments, all those different things, bite turbos, MA. So I went and decided to, bite the bullet and purchase a typodont. Actually, it wasn't bad. It was like $140, $150. I got the class 2 typodont, as you can see here. I already had the regular one. I lost it at some point. But this one's actually useful. And I've made a ton of videos about precision cuts, slots versus button cutouts, hooks, elastics, how to wear them, class 2 versus class 3, etc. And a lot of you are getting a little bit confused on different topics. So I just said, you know what, I'm just going to buy the typodont and I'm going to show you guys on the actual Invisalign typodont how things work. Okay, so this is what the packaging looks like. I already pulled it out of the sleeve. This is what it looks like when you get it. So let's see. Sorry, obviously I already pulled it out. It comes with one set of elastics, 1/4 medium. It's not really my favorite elastics to wear with Invisalign, and I'll explain a little bit more. It is one of the elastics, and it depends on the orientation of things. But we're going to go over that on how elastics work and how to pick the right elastic for your case. But let's go over what they gave us to start. I'm going to go ahead and lower this a little bit more, so hopefully you guys won't complain. If you remember, I'm just an orthodontist. I'm not a professional videographer, so my videos are going to be a little bit janky. I'm doing the best I can. So a lot of you are complaining out there on YouTube world, oh, your videos are unprofessional. Well, yeah, they are, because I'm not a videographer, right? I'm just somebody who's making videos, showing you guys how to do things, but clearly you guys are getting the idea. Okay, so, but I have invested in some technology, so hopefully my videos are getting a little bit better. All right, so mainly we're here to talk about the class 2 arrangement, what to do in class 2 cases. I've got literally dozens of videos. You can put in the keyword overjet in my channel. I think I have over 3,000 videos now. You can put in Invisalign, you can put in class 2, you can put in elastics, and lots of videos will come up. But remember, for class 2 cases, of course, this really isn't a class 2 case. I'm not really sure why they called this class 2. Hey, it's class 2 canine, but it's not class 2 molar. So that kind of changes the things. Oh, this side is. Okay, there's an asymmetry in this case. Got it. And this is why the midlines are off. But anyways, typical class 2 case. Got some crowding, kind of class 2 division 2. If you don't understand the difference between class 2 division 1 and class 2 division 2, class 2 division 1 is when the front teeth are flared out. Class 2 division 2 has this kind of usually tucked in, lateral look. That's where they're basically dumped back, right? They're trying to compensate. That's class 2 division 2, just so you know, for insurances and for diagnostics, the difference. Treatment's gonna be a little bit different depending on what the issue is. So, of course, the first question I always ask whenever I have a class 2 patient is the patient still growing? And that's not a question you can just answer based on age. There's a lot of questions you need to go into. I'm not going to go into how to find this out because I have a ton of videos on it and really you should know. But if you don't, research my videos, or you welcome anything that I'm talking about that you don't 100% get. You can go to my website, StraightSmileSolutions.com, send me a message, and I will literally handpick the videos and send them to you. I have no problems doing this for you. Or you can send me an email at info@StraightSmileSolutions.com. Those are the fastest ways to get a hold of me. Yes, you can message me on YouTube or Facebook or Instagram, but I'm not gonna be that fast, and sometimes I miss it. So it's better if you just contact me directly if you wanna know something. If you want help on a particular case, it's not something we're gonna help you with through Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, email, it's illegal. So if you want help on a particular case, you'll need to schedule a session. In order to do that, you need to go to our services page. There's a small fee for support on a case. But anyways, so find out if your patient's still growing. If your patient is like many years post-pubertal, there's no way there's any growth, okay, then things are the way they are. Of course, you can take a hand wrist x-ray to verify that, and I have really great diagnostics that I wrote on my own about hand wrist x-rays and how to read them. You can ask those puberty questions. You can get growth charts from the pediatrician. There's a lot of things that you can do, right? In general, girls hit puberty between the ages of 8 and 13, usually averages around 11. Boys hit puberty between the ages of usually 10 and 15, averages around 13, 14. It's a little bit later than girls. So if you have a girl, they probably already hit puberty. If they have this many permanent teeth in, I'm pretty sure they're done. But you can ask. Sometimes there's one off, so it's always good to know. If your patient has growth potential, obviously that changes the rules. You want to really consider something. Obviously, you're going to want to do a Ceph, get Ceph metrics, and I have lots of videos on reading Cephs. If not, we can help with you one-on-one on reading them. I don't do the diagnostics myself. I'm going to recommend you use a program like CephX. You can send off for them. There's a small fee to get Ceph numbers for your case, but I can help you interpret the Ceph, certainly. So MA is mandibular advancement. MA is available with Invisalign. You can get it in the US, you can get it in Canada and most other countries. I know in Australia, they're only offering it to orthodontists, but I've had some general dentists who are able to use it. You just have to give them a call and explain that you have experience, and they've let plenty of general dentists that I work with use MA. It's just not gonna come up initially on your portal as an option. So MA, just to let you know, and this video is really not gonna be about MA because I have other videos on MA, but I did get an MA set of aligners. So MA is called mandibular advancement. This is what it looks like. So it's basically like a twin block, but in aligners. I'm doing this through the lens, sorry. I have it upside down. Okay, here we go. That probably helps. So if you ever looked up what a twin block is, it's an appliance. It's like a holly with little like wings, woo, that helps to position the mandible forward in little increments. Well, not the twin block, but the MA does, so that the mandible, if there's growth potential left, is stimulated to grow. So you can see here, just a regular aligner, but in this area, there's some wings that go right here, right? So when the patient closes down, they're gonna hit this and slide forward. So we've got aligners going on for the most part, okay? But we also have these little wings, which is gonna help stimulate the lower jaw to grow. This is only gonna happen if the patient has growth potential remaining. So no sense in putting this in the treatment plan if the patient's not growing. It's a complete waste of your time. You cannot do MA and some of the other things like distalization, class 2 elastics at the same time. It's either one or the other, which makes sense, right? Pick a direction you want to fix the bite and stick with that direction. Now, you can try that first, and if you didn't get as much growth as you wanted to, you can do the other stuff afterwards. But I just wanted to show you, now that I finally have a copy of what MA looks like actually in my hands, what it looks like. So, so far I've actually seen a lot of great things with MA. Now keep in mind that it's nothing new, you know, it is in terms of meshing it into aligners, but it's nothing new in the world of orthodontics. We've been doing growth modification with mandibular advancement for 60, 70, 80 years. I mean, these things were built in various appliances, activators, twin blocks, bionators. These were things we've always done. I would say it's kind of fallen out of fashion in the US, but in Europe and other parts of the world, it's been happening for a long time. I personally love them. I think they're great. But I'm excited that now it's part of Invisalign, because before what I was doing is I was using those other appliances first and then going into my Invisalign, which is not wrong. You can still do that if you want to. I'm doing that a lot more with white label aligners. I'm using the other appliances first and then going into white label. So that way, you know, I can save money. But MA is not an additional charge. It's now part of comprehensive, or you can have it part of Invisalign first. Obviously, these aligners have baby teeth in them, a few of them. So this is, I don't know, it could be Invisalign, it could be Invisalign first, it could be comprehensive. You can do comprehensive with baby teeth in, just remember you only get 5 years to do it. So a lot of times if the patient is 9 or 10, I'm gonna go ahead and do a comprehensive case. I'm not gonna do an Invisalign first case because I'm gonna pay twice, right? And A plus B doesn't equal C. So Invisalign first plus Invisalign second is still a lot more than one Invisalign comprehensive. So if I think I can pull this off, you know, I'm gonna start with Invisalign comprehensive. If the patient is 7 or 8, of course they're gonna have to have Invisalign first because that's not gonna happen otherwise. But anyways, that's what MA looks like. So let's go back to our type it on so you can see what's going on. So, you know, regular stuff, you've got your attachments, but mostly we're here to talk about the class 2 correction. Oh, one thing I want to talk about first was the compliance indicators. Personally, it used to be free on Invisalign Teen, and it was kind of a gimmick way back when a lot of parents weren't comfortable with Invisalign for their teens, but now we know that it works just fine. And it isn't something that I pay the $35 to add on to my cases for. I don't see the point in that. Because a lot of times, honestly, if they wear it for 2 weeks, 10 hours a day, it's still going to turn colors and look like they wore it, which is not as effective as wearing it for 7 days, 22 hours a day, right? So for me, it's a waste of money. I can also just tell by looking at the bite, looking at the teeth, looking at the color, looking at the dinginess of the aligners if they wore it. So waste of money for me, but if you like it, go for it. Patients don't have to know that, right? Okay, so let's talk about precision cuts now. So here we've got two different types of precision cuts. We've got our regular slot, which is right here. So you see this teardraped slot, tear-shaped slot that's in the aligner. See it right there? I think you guys can see it. It's like literally cut in. So if I pull this off, see the tear-shaped slot right there? Putting my finger in it, okay? So this is where the elastic hooks on. If you're doing the traditional elastic route for class 2, which is slots for the upper canines and buttons for the lower molars. So here's your lower molar. See the clear button right there? It's actually glued on the tooth. See it? So that's a button. You don't make that of composite. That's something that's prefab. You buy it and you glue it on the tooth. I like the Invisalign ones. They actually, a lot of you ask me which ones to buy. I do think they're the best clear ones that I've seen and I've used. I like the shape of them and they stick pretty well. Of course, metal ones work just fine too if your patient doesn't mind. You're gonna go ahead to place the buttons. You're going to place either your template in or an aligner, and you're just gonna place it while the aligner's on. Of course, you wanna make sure your aligner's not bouncing fully seated, because if it's not fully seated and you put this sucker on, it may never fully seat, right? So make sure it's on well. Put it on. It shouldn't be right up to the edge of the aligner or at the gum line. It should be right in the middle. I like the way they angled this here. That makes sense. It's angled in the direction that the elastic would go. So that's pretty smart. They also make round ones. You can buy them from anywhere, metal ones, etc. So basically, the way this would go in this situation is that the elastic is going to hook here with the thing on. And we'll talk about sizes of elastics shortly. So there's all different sizes of elastics, and I've got a ton of videos on that. But remember, elastics have to be changed every 4 to 6 hours. So your patient should be running through quite a lot of elastics in just one day. So you can see how it's on here. And then it's gonna hook to the slot on this. So sometimes you're gonna wanna put this on first and then put this in. Patients can be a lot more smooth at putting these on than I am on the Typodont through a lens. And then hook it to this. See how I did that? So this is slot and this is cutout, slot to cutout, okay? So what they gave me in the box was 1/4 medium. I like to think of it like I do in braces. In braces for a class 2 elastic, I'm gonna actually use 3/16 heavy. So the reason, if you're not getting a lot of improvement, it's probably because you're using the 1/4 medium. Now, if you're using button to slot, you have to use probably 1/4 or 3/16 medium, because you can't use heavy elastics on a slot. Because think about this, you want the patient to seat this, but yet this is pulling this out. So it really affects the tracking. I see much less favorable outcomes when you do it this way than when you ask for a button on the canine. So you don't have to do this slot to button. You can do button to button. You can also do slot to slot. But then I think you have more tracking issues. Considering the most tracking issues are in this area, and even on this model, you can see there's tracking issues already. See how it's not seating all the way? It's like a counterforce, and it's gonna affect how things fit. So ideally you want things to fit more like this. See how I'm seating it? Oops, seating it all the way up. And you saw the difference when I put the elastic on, how it fit, right? Let's do that again. Okay, so it's trying to pull it out. Now it's not tracking again. So that's my concern with the whole slot to button, which is the default. If you ask for class 2 elastics, this is what you're getting unless you modify it. See how it's happening? So all day long, this thing isn't fully seating because you're pulling on it. Whereas if you put a button up here instead and didn't have it attached on the elastic, you will not have this problem. The cases will track better, they'll work out better, they'll work out faster, and you can use heavier elastics. So the elastic I recommend, if you do button to button, you can't do it like this, would be something like this, which is 3/16 heavy. This is a little bit extra heavy, 6 ounces. Yeah, no, that's fine. 3/16 heavy. You can get these from eBay. You can get them from any orthodontic company that's out there. These work better for button to button. But slot to button, you're either going to use 3/16 medium, okay, 3/16 medium, or 1/4 medium. Now, medium can be 3.5 ounces, 4 ounces, or 4.5 ounces, but all of them should work. So how do you know whether you're going to do, we are moving. How do you know whether you're going to do 3/16 medium or 1/4 medium? Well, you want to get the smallest possible diameter elastic that the patient can comfortably put on. So I believe that this, what is this? Can't remember which elastic this was. Okay, let's start fresh. So let's try on the 1/4 medium, which came in the bag, okay? Here's 1/4 medium, came in the bag. Okie dokie. So you can see the diameter of the 1/4 medium is a little bit bigger. Are these non-latex elastics? Really? These look awful. What are these? It doesn't say. These look like non-latex elastics to me, the clear ones, and these are like terrible elastics. So see the difference between latex and non-latex? It doesn't say that they are, but oh no, I wouldn't use these. Okay, well, this is good to know. It doesn't say. But this is the 1/4 medium. This is the 3/16 medium. See, the diameter is different. They're both medium, but the diameter is different, okay? So it can stretch a little bit more. The problem is if you use too big of a diameter, it's not gonna pull as well and it's not gonna work as well. So you wanna use the smallest possible diameter that the patient can comfortably take on and off. So this is something that I kind of fundamentally disagree with. My God, there's like no pull on this. This isn't gonna do this. So cracks me up that Invisalign would throw these elastics in this kit because this has zero pull to it. I could put it on so easy, it's still slop. You know, it's not even tight. This is not gonna fix this bite. So this is BS. So if Invisalign sees this video, your stock elastics are not gonna fix a case like this. I can full on tell you that. So, but I can fix a case like this, especially if I'm adding distalization. Now remember, if you're gonna use distalization to a case, especially like on this side where you're class 2, you can't have wisdom teeth impacted in the way. I mean, they could be like high and dry, but they can't be right like here because it's not gonna move, right? So wisdom teeth either have to be extracted or they have to be high and dry. So you need to check your pano because it's not gonna work. And that's not Invisalign's job to tell you if that's gonna work or not. So I'm just letting you know that. But distalization is fantastic. It really, really works well. And you can do amazing things with distalization. But of course, if the patient is still growing, you want to use your MA. Okay, so now I'm gonna show you the heavy elastics. So this is my favorite. Now remember, you can't use the heavy elastics with slot to button. It's gonna pull it out. So it might even do it in the demo. But you're gonna see that they're a little bit thicker. And remember, I want latex elastics on every patient unless they have an actual documented latex allergy. Like documented, like doctor actually says they are, not the patient just says they are. Because half the time they're not telling you the truth. They don't even know what it is. And because the non-latex elastics don't work as well, in my opinion. Okay, so this is heavy, okay? 3/16. This is what I want you to use, but only if you have button to button. So this might be like way too much for this type, but I haven't even tried it before. And it's really thick, so I don't even know if you can get it on the wing because it's thicker. And I can't. So that's why you cannot. But yeah, basically it's the same thing. See how I had to struggle a little bit to stretch it? That's how you want it. Like patients should have to struggle. If your patient is breaking their brackets a lot, you need to watch or breaking their buttons. You need to watch my video. I go through all the things about breaking buttons, why they're happening. It could be that your diameter is too small. So it depends on like how big the teeth are, how deviated the jaws are. So you might have to use 1/4 heavy in that case until they get a little bit closer. Or you can use the 1/4 heavy during the day and the 3/16 heavy at night because they're staying closed at night and it should work well. But you have to probably stock quite a few elastics in your office to find the right one for your patient. All right, hopefully this was helpful. Thanks so much.